No life organism can continue for long to exist sanely under conditions of absolute reality. Even larks and katydids are supposed by some to dream.
Sync! I really hope that glare is gone. Really hope that glare is gone. Hi! Want to hear about a really cool movie? Jane Schoenbrom's I Saw the TV Glow, released May of last year. I had to change that from this year. Oh my god, time is moving. Is a film that confused some people. It has a lot of layers to it. If one has only seen the trailer for this art house film, they would think it's a horror movie about memory and TV and perception of reality. And it looks like it'll lead into Lovecraftian horror. But alas, it did not. IMDb user, PJ Lover. Did we watch the same movie? Because that's exactly what it is. Not a horror movie. Not a horror movie? I mean, like, the feeling of absolute cosmic dread that this movie made me feel made me...
Animal crackers in my soup.
You can do this!
IMDb user PJ Lover's take is actually pretty emblematic of a take I've seen a surprising amount of when it comes to this film. My theory as to why this happened is mostly due to a trailer that sells a more traditional horror movie. I wouldn't fault anyone for seeing this and thinking that this film is gonna have some spooky things in it. That's the thing. It doesn't. Well, let me clarify. If you go into this movie with the expectation that it's gonna be spooky like The Conjuring or Insidious movies, you're gonna be disappointed. I Saw the TV Glow is a slow burn, psychological thriller that actively demonstrates to its audience a palpable feeling. The feeling of realizing that you live in a false reality, and the subsequent nightmare of realizing you'll never escape. Our movie opens on a shot of a young boy, gazing enthralled at the CRT in front of him. His expression tells us that whatever's on screen is the coolest thing in the world. And he's not wrong.
A new supernatural infestation that no exterminator can take care of. It's the attack of the Drain Lords. 10:30 p.m., 9:30 Central, this Saturday night on the Young Adult Network.
This show is The Pink Opaque, a fictional but lovingly crafted tribute to late 90s tween to teen TV, like Goosebumps or Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The former of which being the inspiration that made me point like Leonardo DiCaprio at the screen. The entire Goosebumps brand was basically my whole personality from grades 3 to 6, and Schoenbrom's recreation of the style is flawless.
It's not fair, man. Why does the winter have to be so cold that you can't eat ice cream during the winter?
Every detail. The opening credits, the gorgeous practical effects, even the cringy dialogue and wonderfully stilted delivery, it's all there. I love it. Even the premise is so tonally perfect. Two teenage girls, Isabel and Tara, meet at a sleepaway camp and develop psychic powers. Together with the power of their friendship, they must defeat monsters of the week sent by an evil, disturbing man in the moon named Mr. Melancholy. It's perfect!
I don't even have my learner's permit yet.
How can I have a destiny?
It's just oozing with that dorky but unbelievably earnest cheese that defines the late 90s and early 2000s art I love so much. Every little detail of this show within a film brings me right back to middle school, watching reruns of old TV that I was just a little too young for, but knowing that and becoming even more enthralled with these stories because of it. This little boy sits there, captivated by aspects of this world and these characters that he just can't find in real life. I know this face. I had this face. This is Owen, and I want to tell you a little bit about him. Owen is shy. Owen is quiet. Owen, when asked the question, "Do you like boys or girls?" responds,
I think that I like TV shows.
Owen is terrified of his father, of whom the film demonstrates is very adherent to traditional social values. When Owen asks to stay up late one night to watch The Pink Opaque, he's hit with,
Isn't that a show for girls?
It's this restrictiveness that drives Owen into silence, a silence fueled by fear. Only broken when Owen encounters our other main character. Maddie is a fellow quiet kid. living with a similar, yet slightly more intense, home life to Owen. Maddie is the kind of kid who would rather read the episode guide for a TV show she's seen a million times than talk to new people. Which TV show? Oh, just the Pinko Peg. This one common interest is enough to penetrate all the social barriers they've put up, born from insecurity and a fear of rejection. They strike up awkward kid conversation.
It's a kid show, right? The Pinko Pig.
No. No way. Who told you that? I mean, yeah, technically it's on the Young Adult Network, but it's way too scary and the mythology is way too complicated for most kids.
They see themselves in the characters on screen, and as silly as it sounds, the show genuinely helps them understand each other and the world around them even deeper than they ever imagined they could. The show helps the kids feel powerful in a powerless existence. Eventually, they grow close enough that one night Maddie decides to show Owen the ultimate gesture of emo teenage girl best friendship. She draws a symbol from their favorite show on his skin in permanent marker. It's intimate. It's platonic, kind of. It's beautiful. Even after Maddie falls asleep that night, Owen lies restless. He's never felt this way before. Is this happiness? Is this because of the show or because of Maddie? Why does he feel so happy? He's sneaking away from his parents. Is he doing something wrong? What is the matter with him? Does he like Maddie? Does Maddie like him? Doesn't she only like girls, though? Why does Isabel look so happy? Why can't he talk to people? Why can he talk to Maddie? Why do his lungs hurt? Why does the permanent marker of all things make him feel so... Will his parents ever be happy? Why is he so much like Isabel? What is that?
Where are we exactly?
I don't know. When you order lots and lots of jets and planes.
There's a concept that's been floating around our digital collective subconscious for about a decade now. A maze of hallways that seem to resemble that one vacant lot in that shopping center that just can't get filled. The hum of its fluorescent lights and the stench of the damp, slightly moist carpet drive its inhabitants to the edge of insanity. These are the back rooms. I don't want to get too much into it. There are other great videos about the backrooms, but essentially, the backrooms is a horror concept about falling backstage behind the curtain of our reality and becoming trapped in this seemingly endless maze of hallways that just vaguely remind you of somewhere you've definitely been before. This internet phenomena is a great example of a type of horror that has been very, very popular in recent years. Liminal horror. The eerie, empty feeling in your stomach when you look at these pictures and videos is thought to come from the transitory nature of the subject matter. An empty bus stop, creaky hotel hallways, dim locker rooms. These are all places that are meant to take you from one location to the next. You're never meant to linger. So what happens when you're forced to? What happens if you can never leave that god-awful period of change? When your life becomes a liminal space, sometimes it's just easier to become numb to it. Liminal horror has always been so effective to me personally because it forces me to confront my innate, deep fear of change. And I Saw the TV Glow is the best liminal horror movie I have ever seen. Maddie eventually confesses that she needs to leave this town. The place everyone in her life considers home is suffocating her, killing her from the inside out.
I'll die if I stay here. I don't know how exactly, but I know it's true.
Not only does she need to leave, they need to leave. There's nothing in that town for her, of course, but for Owen, especially not. She can see it. Owen is suffocating, just like her, and if she can get them out of there, to somewhere new, somewhere better, they can both finally see what it feels like to actually live. At least, that's how Maddie sees it. Owen, on the other hand, isn't quite ready for these ideas yet. Or at least the feelings that accompany them.
You have to tell my dad that I've been lying to him. I've been pretending to sleep here while my mom's in the hospital and I need to be grounded. You can't let me go with her. I don't want to leave my home.
Change is a concept that can mean a great deal of things. For people like Owen, however, change is, at all times, very frightening. Positive feelings can get outweighed by that fear, and even dreaming of a future where things could get better comes with this deep, inexplicable feeling of dread. It's this dread that leads Owen to abandon his best and only friend.
And a few weeks later, Maddie disappeared without a trace. All they found was her TV set, burning in the backyard. And the strangest part of it all was, that exact same month that Maddie disappeared, the Pink Opaque got canceled.
Without Maddie or their nights watching TV together, Owen's world becomes empty, surreal, liminal. The movie shows us nothing but the transitional moments. Owen at a fast food drive-thru, Owen's night shift at the movie theater, Owen's drive home.
I'm sorry that I'm late. There was a down power line.
Time moves too quickly. The years pass in seconds. Owen's mom dies. Owen moves on. Owen graduates. Owen goes to the grocery store. Owen buys celery. And after years of nothing but the in-between, Owen runs into Maddie. Now, this is where we get our first twist. And I also suspect it's where the film loses a lot of people. People like IMDb user PJ Lover. These people are wrong. And they will not survive the winter. Maddie brings Owen to this awesome-looking bar, and side note, I love that this scene is bookended on both sides by a musical sequence, implying its significance while also showing that things will never be the same again. Anyway, Owen, clearly concerned with his friend's sanity and well-being, asks the only logical question: where have you been? Maddie responds with the totally rational and not at all insane sounding,
I've been there. Inside the show. Inside the Pink Opaque.
which subsequently sends Owen down a rabbit hole of repressed emotions and memories. This all culminates with the inevitable revelation that Maddie is 100% right. And not only is the Pink Opaque real, but her and Owen are much more important to it than just regular audience members. The pair are literally the main characters, Tara and Isabel, sent to this ordinary, magicless world, bodies and minds transformed, after the success of the Big Bad's evil plan.
Mr. Melancholy. The Big Bad.
You're gonna love the Midnight Realm. It's such a wonderful, wonderful prison. So you won't remember anything. You won't even remember that you're dying.
I mean, that's a pretty huge pill to swallow if you're IMDb user PJ Lover. I mean, what, magic and monsters exist in this fantasy horror movie? The bad guy turned the girl into a little boy to make her sad? The gay moon nerds actually did that goofy little dance? That's just too much belief to suspend. I'm sorry. The point is, this film is layered. Like any other piece of art, it's about the experience that the viewer has with it. I've seen many interpretations of this film, ranging across the entire spectrum of everything that happens in this movie is entirely literal and the moon guy really sucks, to Maddie is completely insane and should not be trusted. I mean, did you see that band kid stance? Personally, my experience with the film was heightened by the twist. The chills that I felt in theaters during that Moon Man scene, or unbelievable. To me, it simply added another level of tension. Owen's miserable liminal life isn't one he's just doomed to. It's a prison. And prisons can be escaped. Will Owen/Isabel overcome her fear and escape the Midnight Realm becomes the driving question behind the rest of the plot. The reason why this question works, the reason why it's so compelling, is because the answer lies entirely within the actions of our protagonist. It's entirely on Owen to find the courage inside to push past the terror, overcome the dread that comes with change, and embrace his true potential. However, so you know how in the whole hero's journey monomyth thing, the hero typically refuses the call to adventure before embracing their destiny? Yeah. I Saw the TV Glow is a movie where the call to adventure doesn't happen until near the end, and the hero never accepts it. He refuses it a lot of times. So many times. He abandons his best friend over it. Maddie, upon extending her hand one last time to try and save this person that she loves, is shoved to the ground, while Owen sprints away to the comfort of the devil that he knows. She rightfully leaves him after this. He's so far lost in his own head. The only person who will be able to save Owen is himself. Tragically, Owen is the last person to realize this, and it leads to the most heartbreaking sequence in the film.
I told myself I made the right choice. Maddie's story was insane, and it couldn't be true. But some nights, when I was working late at the movie theater, I found myself wondering, what if she was right? What if she had been telling the truth? What if I really was someone else? Someone beautiful and powerful. Someone buried alive and suffocating to death. Very far away on the other side of a television screen. But I know that's not true. That's just fantasy. Kid stuff.
It's the end of the world, and we're driving around. Shoot out the light from across the road.
The years continue to pass. Owen gets a new job. Owen's dad dies. Owen gets promoted. Owen starts a new family.
I love them more than anything.
Owen watches his childhood die.
It was raining the other night and I couldn't sleep, so I started the Pink Opaque again. It's available to stream now. You don't even need a disc, and it was nothing like I remembered it.
Hey, Mr. Ice Cream Man. Stop turning all my friends into popsicle sticks.
But I'm so lonely.
The whole thing felt cheesy and cheap, dated, and not scary at all.
Nothing matters. His life slips away like chapters skipped on a DVD. He is still stuck in that liminal life, but he can see the exit. But he's too scared to leave. As he ages and ages, Owen's features barely change. He's trapped with the same face that he had at 14. He's stuck in the same pit, never able to actually grow, just grow old. The world around him mocks him for his past, for never embracing his potential. Is this it? Is this actually all he was put here for? To not feel anything but this suffocating pain while the world screeches around him? It's too much. It's always been too much. He can't take it anymore. It's all too much. He just needs to...
I'm dying right now!
sorry. Ignore me.
And that's I Saw the TV Glow, folks. I hope you enjoyed. Please accept a gift bag on your way out. We do not validate parking. The feeling that comes over me when I watch this ending, as that perfect final track's first notes begin to play. I can't think of another word to describe it other than cosmic dread. I watch in agony as Owen assures the uncaring crowd around him that everything's fine. I sit with a black hole in my stomach as Owen finds his only remaining comfort in distant memories, locked deep inside, only accessible by carving. So unbelievably deep. I sob with him as he desperately cries for his mom. Do you see now, IMDb user PJ Lover? This is the horror of letting your life pass you by. Do you ever really think about that phrase? Have you considered the implications?
Promise me you'll think about the implications.
This movie bottles the dread of feeling that something is deeply wrong, but being so afraid of anything other than the status quo that you won't do anything to change it. Trapped in your own life, watching from behind your own eyes like an audience member. It's a living death. Now, this just leads me to reconsider the initial review that started this whole nightmare thought chain. It's weird, right? Like, they describe the movie entirely accurately, then immediately pretend that they didn't see what they just saw. This reeks of someone who saw a message in a piece of art, interpreted that message, but didn't like the conclusion that they came to. Perhaps because of some sort of pre-existing bias? Okay, so I think it's time to talk about the big pink, white, and blue elephant in the room. I Saw the TV Glow is a movie about the trans experience. This is true both textually and metatextually. Even if you deny the interpretation that the pink opaque itself is real, Owen is still coded as a closeted trans woman. Owen experiences discomfort in his body. There's this sense that his soul doesn't fit. In universe, it's because an evil moon demon cursed Isabel to this liminal existence, but this is just a magical explanation for the bad vibes that being trans brings. I Saw the TV Glow as a trans story in the same way that Avatar is a story about indigenous mistreatment, but also a story about blue cat people with lots of lore. The film is about an explicitly trans character, but should also be relatable to anybody afraid of this kind of change. My point is, you don't have to be a blue cat person to understand and relate to the story at the heart of Avatar, just as you don't have to be trans to understand and empathize with Owen's story. Or mine.
I've replaced your DNA with fruit by the foot. Respect the pouch! Respect it!
It's been a rough few years for me, personally. I don't want to get too bogged down in the details, but like most people post-pandemic, my mental state has been the worst it's ever been. The days were getting harder, the thoughts were getting darker, and the future was just getting blurrier. I was running out of reasons to force myself out of bed. I felt unmotivated with my degree and the subsequent journalism job that I had chosen in a haze of COVID confusion and uncertain times. Remember that? Plus, the general discomfort I had felt my whole life of being around people and just inhabiting a body. It was getting worse every day. I had no idea who I was, what the world was, or what either was going to become, and that thought drove me deep inside of myself. I became a recluse. I mean, I've always been shy, but at the end of the day, I treasure being around people, even if I'm not saying much. This was different. I couldn't go to campus without a panic attack, or to the grocery store without intense mental preparation. So I dropped out. I hid from the world, working a quiet job that paid the bills, but that I deeply hated. The only solace I found, as usual when I go through dark times, was in art. Watching and discussing movies or games with my roommate and partner was the only thing that really kept me from falling completely off the deep end. Oh, and taking care of my dog, of course. Get a dog. They'll save your life. So when I heard about I Saw the TV Glow through its first trailer, I probably had a similar snap judgment to IMDb user PJ Lover. I thought it looked like a pretty good, fun horror movie with a 90s TV theme. I love those. I'll probably check it out when it comes on streaming. Then I heard it was one of the best movies of the year and knew I had to make a point to actually check it out in theaters. I bought tickets to an 11 p.m. show that was the last available in my town that night. Actually, it was the last available in my town, period. There were no more showtimes after this date. I sat in my comfy chair with my expensive theater food and middling expectations, and as the film began to play on that silver screen, everything changed. I was looking at myself, my life, my experiences, how I saw myself, how I saw the world, how I connect to people, how I made friends, how I connect to media. It was all there. I had felt seen by art before, but never like this. It tapped into the exact anxiety that I feel every day, an anxiety that I've never seen depicted so accurately before. It was validating and horrifying, all at the same time. To me, the film was depicting my own personal bad ending. If I couldn't learn to embrace change, rather than working around it like I always try to, I would end up screaming for help that would never come. I sat terrified, knowing that I would end up like Owen, that I already was. It was like watching a werewolf transform in a movie, only to look down and see fur sprouting from your hands. So, as I left the theater that night amongst a crowd of very confused PJ lovers, I contemplated. Were there any truths I was denying myself? I knew the answer before I asked the question. I knew the answer before I even saw the film. I had just been far too scared of it. I don't think I'm scared anymore. I'll be back. I'm not going anywhere. I promise. Howdy, y'all. I'm a woman. Surprise! This essay was a trans thing the whole time. I got you. Just like the movie IMDb user PJ Lover. See what I did there? I learned how to do that in the journalism school I abandoned. So, yeah. This is real. This isn't a bit. It isn't a persona or a character. This is the real me. My name is Nina, and I am, and always have been, inside, a woman. I've been flirting with this aspect of myself for as long as I can remember, but like Owen, I've always run away in fear of the unknown. No more. My immediate family and friends have been calling me she and using this name for me for a while now, and I gotta say, as cliche as it is, it truly is like a switch flipped. I finally feel connected to myself and to my body in a way that I've never felt before, like I finally know what shape my soul is supposed to take. The idea of the future isn't one that makes me feel that empty, eerie feeling anymore. It kind of fills me with hope. Like, I know so many more bad things are about to happen, especially with the way things are going, but I know that I can take on those challenges because I know it's me who's doing it. Funnily enough, it's the past that's become cloudy. I look back on old memories and don't recognize myself as the one guiding the ship. I see a facsimile of me, created from warped expectations, designed to suppress the version of me screaming to get out. Now, when I'm in a safe space, as myself, I find it infinitely easier to connect with those around me. I recently acted in my first theater production in 5 years, and I have to say that performing as myself, seeing my name in the program, it just cast the whole experience in this light that felt more right than it ever has before. The clog is gone. The clouds are lifted, and I can finally feel the warmth of what I love for what it really is. Honestly, the weirdest thing about this whole experience has been realizing that this part of me has always been around, just far too scared to come out. I had been afraid of change before all of the traumatic high school stuff that we have no time to get into right now, but that stuff certainly didn't help. I think it's finally time to move past it. So what's next for Nina? Honestly, there are a lot of existential threats to our community right now, and they're kind of frightening me. So I'm gonna leave some resources down in the description. Check them out. But on a more personal level, the thing about being trans is that it's only step one of figuring your stuff out. I have a lot of so-called brainworms to work through, but now I'm just happy enough being alive every day that I feel actually motivated to work through them. It used to be so hard to want anything. Now I want so much. I want to perform everywhere. I want to be on stage more. I want to conquer a corner of the internet. I want to create and tell stories that I know nobody else can. I want to get closer to my family, my friends, my cousins. I want to do this more. And I want to do it all, finally, as myself. In truth, the main reason I'm making this video is because I want to make more videos, and I don't want my family confused as to why I'm suddenly wearing lip gloss in them. If you enjoyed this video, that's pretty cool. It's tempting to be afraid of new ideas. It's literally baked into our survival instinct. But with the way our world is, especially our fast-moving modern one, we can never escape change. I'm kinda done being afraid of that fact. Now I want to be the one to make the changes that lead towards a better future. Thanks for making it all the way through this video. If you liked it, subscribe. There will probably be more. If you're a family member and you have any questions, message me on Facebook. If you're not family and you want to ask me questions or just like chat about Marvel Rivals or something, you can follow me on Instagram or Blue Sky with the links in the description. And remember to always treat others how you wish to be treated, unless they're a jerk. Okay, bye! Hi, welcome to the ramble at the end of the video. This is where I would put Patreon supporters, if I had any. No, but for real, thank you for watching. If you're mentally ill enough to keep your eyes glued to the news like me, you know this is a very scary time for a lot of people. I think that the only way a lot of us are going to get through these next few years is through sheer stubborn force of will. So I made this video for a lot of reasons, but one of them is as a way to jam my heels into the sand, so to speak. So, that is to say, this is me, and I'm not going anywhere. Is that dramatic? A little bit, but I've been called worse things. So please, keep being you. Please keep making cool things. Art is our sanctuary. And if you need an editor for that art, hire me. Okay, thanks, bye. Even if you deny the reading that the pink opaque itself is real, Owen is still closeted. Nope.